Welcome to EPG Pathshala lecture series in computer science. This course is on operating systems. For the past few modules, we have been looking at what process synchronization is and the different solutions to synchronization. Today also we will continue with some other solutions to process synchronization. The objectives of today's lecture is to understand the solutions to the critical section problem using synchronization hardware and to learn how the solutions satisfy mutual exclusion, progress and bounded waiting. We will also get introduced to semaphores. So, we have been looking at cooperating processes. Cooperating processes, we all know that they share data, and when they need to share data, the sharing of data is through common variables or through common data structures. And when processes share common data structures, it is necessary for processes to be synchronized or it is necessary for synchronization. And comes this critical section problem, because each process has got its own critical part of code which it needs to execute, and that part of code is the one that will be modifying or manipulating the shared data. So, this problem has to be solved and there are a number of solutions for the critical section problem. In the last class, we saw what are the different solutions when there are two processes. We also saw another algorithm called the bakery algorithm, which gives a solution when there are multiple processes. And then we started with synchronization hardware in the last class, where hardware support is being provided for process synchronization. We saw that there is an instruction called test and set instruction, which is the instruction that can be executed atomically, and using that instruction we saw how we can come up with process synchronization. And today's class we will look at another instruction which is called the swap instruction. This instruction again is one that is executed atomically, and this can also be used for solving the critical section problem. So, this instruction swap, it is used to swap two variables atomically, and the implementation goes like this. The swap instruction takes as arguments two Boolean variables A and B, and it swaps the values of the Boolean variables. That is all has been done here. So, if I copy the value of A to a temporary variable, again that is a Boolean variable, and then the value of B is copied onto A and the value of temp is copied onto B. Temp actually has the value of A. So, the value of A is copied onto B and the value of B is copied onto A. And using this, we will see how we can achieve mutual exclusion, and an algorithm is given for that. Here this algorithm takes lock as a Boolean variable, and this lock is a variable that is shared between the processes that are trying to achieve mutual exclusion. And this is the algorithm for process Pi, and this process Pi has got a local variable called key, and this lock is a variable that is a shared variable. This key is not a shared variable, it is a variable that is specific for each process or that is local to each process. And this variable lock alone is being shared between the processes that are trying to achieve mutual exclusion. So, what each process does is that each process sets the value of key to true, and then as long as the value of key is true, it keeps on swapping the value of lock and key. And then if the value of key becomes false, then it moves out of this while loop and enters critical section, and after coming out of critical section, it changes the value of lock back to false and enters the remainder section. We will see how mutual exclusion is achieved using this algorithm. This, as I told you, this variable lock is the shared variable and it is initialized to false first. And there are two processes P0 and P1 which are trying to achieve mutual exclusion. They are trying to access some common data. And each process P0, as I told you, has got each process has got a key variable. So, there is a key variable for P naught, there is another key variable for process P1. And P naught, say initially it is in the entry section, it wants to enter critical section. So, it sets the value of its key to true. And then it tries to execute the swap of key and lock. What is the value of lock now? The value of lock is false. The value of key is true. So, the swapping of lock and key will result in the value of key becoming false and the value of lock becoming true. And now, when the value of key becomes false, the process comes out of the while loop, and process P naught comes out of the while loop and enters critical section. And say when P naught is in the critical section, P1 wants to enter critical section. So, what does P1 do? P1 also makes its value of key to true, and then it tries to execute swap of key and lock. Swap of key and lock, you can see that both the value of lock is also true, and hence swap of key and lock will keep the value of key to be true. The value of key does not change. So, the condition checking while key equal to true will remain or will continue to be true, and the while loop continues. The process keeps on going on in the while loop, and hence this process P1 will continue to wait. It cannot enter critical section. So, as long as P naught is in the critical section, P1 is not allowed to enter critical section, P1 waits. So, mutual exclusion is satisfied. So, when can P1 execute critical section? Only when P naught comes out of critical section, it will change the value of lock to false, and when the value of lock becomes false, the swap of lock and key by this process P1 will change the value of key to false, and process P1 will come out of the while loop and P1 enters critical section. So, this is how mutual exclusion is satisfied with this swap instruction, and using the swap instruction we just saw this algorithm which just satisfies mutual exclusion. And how about the other condition? Is bounded waiting satisfied in this? We will see. So, again the same, we have two processes P naught and P1, and there is a global variable called lock, and there is a local variable key for process P naught and for process P1, and initially the value of lock is false. Say P naught wants to enter critical section, P naught changes the value of key to true, and then it swaps lock and key, and the value of key becomes false and the value of lock becomes true, and because the value of key becomes false, P naught can enter critical section. Say in the meantime P1 wants to enter critical section, P1 changes the value of key to true, it does a swap of key and lock, but key and lock are true, hence swap of key and lock will keep the value of key to be true, and P1 will continue to check the while loop and P1 waits. And now P naught, say it comes out of critical section and it changes the value of lock to false. And now say if P naught wants to enter critical section immediately, but there is another process P1 who had already requested to enter critical section, but it is still waiting, and say as soon as P naught comes out of critical section and after making lock equal to false, P naught tries to enter critical section again, it goes into the entry section. So, what does P naught do? P naught will again try to do a swap of key and lock. So, P naught tries to enter critical section and tries to do a swap of lock and key, and since lock is false, key is also made to be false, and this process enters critical section. So, here we see that even though there is another process P1 which wanted to enter critical section earlier, because this P naught just tries to do a swap of lock and key, and lock was false when it tried to do a swap, and P naught was also allowed to enter critical section the second time even before key P1 is allowed to enter critical section. So, here we see that this algorithm does not satisfy the condition bounded waiting, but it satisfies mutual exclusion, it does not satisfy bounded waiting, and P1 continues to wait. So, another algorithm was designed which tried to include the test and set instruction as well as the swap instruction, and they tried to come up with a solution. In this algorithm, there is a variable called weighting, that is an array. It is a Boolean array where there are n number of elements in it. And there is another variable called log. This is again another shared variable, and all these are initialized to false. So, weighting array with n number of elements initialized to false, and log variable, single variable initialized to false, and these variables are shared between all the processes that are willing to enter critical section. So, the algorithm goes something like this. Initially, a process that executes this algorithm will try to execute, we change the value of weighting to true. We saw that there is a weighting array. That weighting array has got elements corresponding to each and every process. This weighting of I is the element corresponding to process Pi. And so, process Pi is the one that is executing this, and it will change weighting of I to true. And then you have this key variable. Key variable is again specific for each and every process. Each process has got a local key variable, and that local key variable is also changed to true. And then the process checks if weighting of I and key are true. Now, initially it has changed the value of weighting of I to true, it has set the value of key to true. So, both weighting of I and key will be true, and then it will try and check test and set of log. So, test and set of log, what does it do? This log, if the value of log is false, test and set of log will return a false value, and that will be assigned to key. And this key now becomes false, and when key becomes false, this while loop, this key also becomes false. The next time it checks this condition, key is false, and this condition, the whole condition fails, it becomes false, and hence while false, and then it will come out of this while loop, and the process executes weighting of I equal to false. So, it checks if the log is false currently. If it is false, then this process enters critical section. And then after coming out of critical section, what does the process do? This process I, it checks every other process that is in the system. There are totally n number of processes. This is a solution for n number of processes. So, j is equal to I plus 1 mod n. I is the current process. So, that value is incremented. So, if P5 is executing, I will be equal to 5. So, it makes I plus 1, it tries to check P6, the next process. So, j will be equal to 6, and it checks if j is not equal to I and not weighting of j. When will j become equal to I? Say if the current process is the nth process, say if it increments and does a mod n, then it will go to 1, 2, 3, etc. and so on. If it had checked all the other n minus 1 processes, that will come back to this current process. Then that is, it has checked every other process and no other process is waiting, then it will come to j equal to I condition. Now, if j is not equal to I, and if not weighting of j, if weighting of j is true and not weighting of j is false, and then it means that if the other process is not waiting. If weighting of j is actually equal to false, then no, the other process is not waiting, and not waiting of j will become true, and the whole condition becomes true, and then it goes to the next process. So, it had checked the next process first, it finds that the next process is not waiting, and hence it goes on to check the next process, and the next process is checked, and it keeps on going in this way if no other process is waiting. And if the process is waiting, this condition will become false, because weighting of j will be true if that process is waiting, and not weighting of j will become false, and this whole while condition becomes false, and the process will come out of the while loop. And while it comes out of the while loop, you will have to check whether it had come out because of the falseness of the first condition or the first entry here, or it comes out because of checking this weighting. If it had come out because j is equal to I, it will just change the value of lock equal to false and come out. Or if it came out of this while loop because weighting of some other process is equal to true, it will change the weighting of that particular process to false and goes to the remainder section. So, this is the algorithm. Now, we will see with example how this satisfies the mutual exclusion. So, consider two processes P0 and P1. Actually, this is a solution for n number of processes. The example I have taken here, I have just shown for two processes. Similarly, we can think of how it will happen for any number of processes. And the weighting of 0 is for process P0, weighting of 1 will be manipulated by process P1. As I told you, this key is local to each process. P0 has a key and P1 also has got a key. And there is a variable called log, which is common, which is shared between the two processes P0 and P1. So, initially the value of weighting is set to 0, weighting of 1 is also set to 0 and the value of log is set to false. And now P0 wants to enter critical section. So, it changes the value of weighting to true, it changes its value of key to true, and P1 also wants to enter critical section, it changes its value of key to true, it changes its value of weighting to true. And P0 first executes test and set of log. Test and set of log will return a false value and this value of log will be changed to true. So, what happens? The return value of test and set of log is assigned to key of 0 and log is assigned a value of true. Now, this process changes its weighting to false and enters critical section. And in the meantime, if P1 wants to enter critical section, it had already changed the value of weighting to true and key to true and it wanted to enter critical section, but test and set of log was executed by P0 first. So, P1 next gets the chance to execute test and set of log. Now, the value of log is true. So, this test and set of log will return a value of true. So, the value of key remains true. And as long as key remains true and weighting remains true, it keeps on waiting in the while loop. So, P1 keeps on waiting when P0 is executing in the critical section. So, here we see that when one process is in the critical section, the other process is not allowed to enter critical section. And in the meantime, even if any other number of processes come, say even if P2 or P3 or P4 or any process come, they will find the value of log to be true and they try to do a test and set and their value of key will remain true, they continue to be in their respective while loops. So, this we have seen that this algorithm satisfies mutual exclusion. And now we look at progress. We will see if progress is being satisfied in this algorithm. So, you have process P0 and P1, you have weighting of 0, weighting of 1 and you have key of 0 for the local process, key of 1 for this local process and then you have log. So, initially weighting of 0 is set to 0, log is set to false and weighting of 1 is set to false. And both the processes P0 and P1, they want to enter critical section. They set weighting of 0 equal to true and key is equal to true and key is equal to true by P1 and weighting of 1 equal to true by P1. And then P0 executes a test and set of log. So, that will change the value of a key to false and log becomes true and it changes the value of weighting of 0 to false and it enters critical section. And the next process P1, it again sets test and set of log. It finds that log is true and hence the value of key remains true and it waits. And P0 comes out of critical section. P0 will now execute I plus 1. So, I plus 1 is actually 1, so j becomes 1. So, it will check if j is not equal to I, j is not equal to I is 0 and j is 1 now. And it will also check if weighting of 1 is true or not. So, here you can see that the value of weighting of 1 is true. Okay. So, it is awaiting. So, what it does, this and not of true will become false. So, what it will do is it will try to come out of this loop because it becomes false, it will come out of this loop and it will check this condition if j is equal to I, j is not equal to I it makes weighting of j equal to false. So, you can find that when this process P naught comes out of critical section, it will make weighting of 1 to false. So, now since weighting of 1 becomes false, this process which is executing this loop, it will find that this condition is false, it will come out of while loop and it can enter critical section. So, when P naught finishes, you find that it strictly tries to find out the next process which is waiting, and that process is allowed to enter critical section. Only if no other process is waiting, then P naught will change the value of log to false. Okay. So, P1 enters critical section. Now, if you look at the next scenario, here we look at the scenario where process P naught changes the value of log back to false after coming out of critical section. So, here P naught is the only process that is wanting to enter critical section. So, it changes weighting of 0 to 0 and key to true, and then it executes test and set of lock. That will change key to false, and then it will make weighting of 0 to false, enter critical section, come out of critical section, and now it finds that there is no other process that is waiting, because you can see that it tries to check if weighting of the next process is true or not. Weighting of the next process is false and not false will be true, and as long as this is true, it will understand that the other process is not waiting. So, it will increment j equal to j plus 1. Now, from 0 it went to 1 and 1 again it incremented and do a mod n, here only 2 processes. So, j becomes equal to I. So, it comes out of this loop, and because j is equal to I, it makes log equal to false. So, you can find that no other process is waiting. So, it just makes log equal to false and comes out of critical section. And how about bounded weighting in this case? Here you see that after a process comes out of critical section, it checks if the next process is waiting to enter critical section. And similarly, every other process is checked. So, after one comes out of critical section, or in the example that we saw process P naught comes out of critical section, then it checks if P1 is ready to enter critical section or not. If P1 is ready to enter critical section, then weighting of that particular process is made to false, so that that process can enter critical section. If P1 is not ready to enter critical section, it will check if P2 is ready to enter. Very similarly, it will check for all the other n minus 1 processes, and if no other process is ready to enter critical section, only then it changes the value of log to false. So, here you find that when there are n number of processes, worst case, for the worst case, you will have one process will have to wait only for n minus 1 critical section executions by the other n minus 1 process before it gets its turn. So, maximum amount of waiting that for this process is n minus 1. It has to wait for a maximum of n minus 1 CS executions, not more than that. So, the amount of waiting is bounded. So, we see that this algorithm satisfies bounded waiting also. So, this algorithm satisfies all the 3 conditions: mutual exclusion, bounded waiting and progress, which is needed for any solution to the critical section problem. So, next we looked at another algorithm that provided support, or that provided a solution to the mutual exclusion problem, but that included the test and set as well as the swap instructions. Both the instructions were included, and using both the instructions we saw that there is an algorithm that is a solution to the critical section problem, and we also saw that that algorithm solves mutual exclusion, it provides mutual exclusion, it provides a progress, it also provides bounded waiting. So, the references is this book. Acknowledgement. Thank you.